Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. This is WJHS, kind of a version of Coach's Corner, I guess you could say, where we talk shop with one of the coaches of Columbia City Athletics. And with us today, we actually have two guests in studio. I'm Mr. Glaza, the media teacher here at Columbia City High School. And across the street from me is Mr. Jared Ambrose, one of the former coaches of the baseball team, still has a great involvement, still aware, still knows many of the players, and is just an overall wonderful person to have across the hall from me in the high school itself, teaching just down the way. All of the freshmen. I couldn't do what you do, by the way, Mr. Ambrose. How are you doing today?
Hey, thank you for the kind words. You're too kind. Yeah, I'm doing really well. So obviously it's a little gloomy out today, but yeah, doing well. It's spring. Baseball season's right around the corner. Couldn't be happier.
Very good. And exciting news. Emma is joining us in the studio as well. Emma, you've been with WJHS Studios. You actually work with the audio video department here, helping produce the games for volleyball, for football, for basketball. But now kind of you're switching roles. Instead of being behind the camera as a producer role, you're taking on a new task as a student. You want to dive in what you're up to when it comes to baseball and where you imagine that going for yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do for fun?
Well, I'm definitely excited to start something new. I've been a Reds fan since I can remember. So my dad has always taken me to the ballpark, and I've just loved baseball a lot. So I'm really excited to try out play-by-play and see just how it goes.
It is on the horizon.
Yes.
So Reds fan, I'm guessing you've been to Great American Ballpark a few times.
Oh, yes, quite a bit.
Do you have like a favorite memory, maybe a favorite player, just a favorite something from your experience being a Reds fan?
Yeah, so Joey Votto's definitely one of my favorite players,
Classic.
as he is for a lot of people these days. There's been quite a few times my dad and I have like gone up into a special little area where we had like unlimited food and everything, and I love that. Anyways.
That's always fun.
And they
Perks.
had like dilly bars, and so we just get to sit and eat ice cream, and then my dad caught a ball when we were sitting in that specific section. So that was really cool.
Very
Nice.
cool memories.
Yeah.
And so this year, Emma is stepping up. Emma, you're a junior currently. So as we get into our second season ever of filming not only Columbia City softball as a department, but also baseball, you're kind of getting to switch hats, switch roles. And we started having a conversation like, hey, this is what I want to do. And I'm like, heck yeah, let's get you in the booth. Let's see what happens. I'm so glad to be able to provide this opportunity. I hope you make the most of it. We've been working kind of a little bit behind the scenes. Hey, first you emulate, then you create on your own. And then lastly, what's in front of you? What's baseball? Baseball is a challenging game to do play-by-play. So I wanted to bring you into the studio today as we get one of the former coaches involved and just pepper them with questions, let you gain a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of experience, and of course also let our listeners enjoy that as well. Of course, baseball season right around the corner. Weather does not always cooperate. In fact, we were just saying before this interview started that Columbia City was supposed to take on Central Noble in a scrimmage just Wednesday, but rain, reschedule, all of that being a scrimmage. First game, when is it?
Monday.
We take on Central Noble again here at home for Columbia City. What are you guessing at for the season? What do you look for when it comes to a ball game, Emma? And then we'll get into Coach as he's searching a little information on his phone, clarifying some details. What do you look for in a team? Why the Reds?
Well, specifically the Reds, because they just have a really good team dynamic. They all seem to have really good attitudes when they're out there on the field. And they all just get along so well, at least from what we can see as the audience. And so it's just really cool to see them being able to cheer each other on and just continue to lift their spirits up, and just always kind of there to be happy for one another when they have a successful game. And so it's just really cool.
What do you watch for in a team when they first come on the field? Say here at the high school level, Columbia City Eagles on the field, taking on, for instance, our first game, Central Noble or Carroll after that on Tuesday. Bam, 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 games go and fly. What do you notice as a viewer, as a play-by-play professional in the making?
So a big thing that I notice is just like the team dynamic when they're out there practicing on the field before the game.
Okay.
A lot of the times you can kind of get an idea by how they're going to work together just by how they're interacting on the field before the game even starts. And so that's just always interesting to me, just to see how they work together, I guess.
Okay. Notice I asked you first.
Right.
Mr. Ambrose, how's the team doing this year?
Well, I still keep in really good contact with Coach Bell and especially Coach Daly, coaching under him at the JV level for the 4 or 5 years that I was part of the program. And I don't think you're going to see the team kind of miss a beat per se. I think through conversation, Coach Bell and Coach Daly both are super excited about where their program is going, still taking a step in the right direction, still taking some steps forward. So I think, they're definitely excited to see where this team can go and hopefully just take that next step in, again, conference championship, sectional championship.
Okay, this year different than last year. Last year different than the year before that. In the grand scheme of things, you've been involved for a few years now. What is the team working on? What does the team need? How is this team for Columbia City different than previous years that at first glance you might not notice, but you're kind of giving us the insight to Columbia City baseball?
Yeah, I think the first few years that I joined, when I first got on, which was the first year that Coach Bell, his first year of turning the program around, the main focus that he had was changing the culture of the program. I mean, if you go and we're in 2023, so you go back to 2017, that summer of 2017, you ask somebody in Columbia City, hey, what do you think about Columbia City baseball? You're probably not going to hear that, oh, Columbia City baseball, yeah, like, man, they win all the time. The culture's awesome. It just, there was a lot of things that were lacking from where the program used to be. And what I appreciate about Coach Bell and Coach Daly is they both saw that. And that was really the focus the first 2 years, was not necessarily on skills per se. That wasn't, that was obviously
you work hitting,
focus.
you work, pitching style.
But really having to focus on understanding that any successful team, any sport across the board, and you look at the San Antonio Spurs, who had a great dynasty with Greg Popovich. Even looking at New England Patriots, as much as I hate to say it, but any type of team that has had a long run of success, you're going to find that most, if not almost every player on that squad and coach and staff member has a we, not me mentality. It's about the team. It's not about me. And that was the real challenge that Coach Bell and Coach Daly had in building was, all right, we have to get this team, these guys over to, we have to build this we, not me culture. And I mean, a team's just not going to get that on their own. So if, coaching staff in any program is not going to incorporate we, not me, well, then it's just not going to happen on its own. It's not going to happen organically from a group of teenage boys. And so I think that was the main focus the first few years, was getting a team and building a culture that was we, not me.
Okay.
And not so much oh man, there's a runner at second, he's in scoring position and coach asked me to bunt. Well, if I bunt, I can't get an RBI here. But if I bunt, I can move the guy over, and that allows the guy behind me to drive him in, which is what's best for the team. And so that's, I think, the big shift that you've seen is guys are willing to sacrifice personal stats that maybe you don't see at every single program, because the coaching staff has been able to build in this we, not me mentality.
And it's something that doesn't show up in stats necessarily.
No, not at all.
How do you gauge the successfulness in that?
That is so tough. I mean, that's definitely a locker room, and that's something that we, I would ask, and Coach Dave and I would talk about with Coach Belsman. How do we know that what we're trying, the intangibles that we're trying to build here, are actually working? And like you said, because you can't see it on a stat sheet, but you can see it in the clubhouse. You can see it in the dugout. Our guys sprinting in and out of the dugout when we go from defense to offense to defense. I know Coach Daly was huge at the JV level. Okay, guys, you guys need to get out there and I forget the time frame that he had. It could have been 30 seconds, 60 seconds, but as soon as we're done on offense, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, you guys need to be out there in your defense positions ready to go. When we go from offense to defense, if there's a guy left on the bases, someone needs to go and find his mitt and take it out to him. So it's right. It's really hard to gauge. I know, Coach Bell and Coach Daly are really good at that. Coach Bell, especially with all the experience that he has, is kind of getting a gauge for that culture piece and the we, not me. And again, you kind of see it and can see some attitudes obviously throughout. And how does the team handle adversity, which again is kind of hard to measure.
Right.
I know there were some games last year where they handled adversity a lot better, even though they may not have won the game. They handled adversity a lot better than the team would have 3-4 years ago.
Okay. That being said, first game's right around the corner. Where are you guys right now? And speak to this if you know. First game Monday. What's happening at practice right now? What's the focus? Is it in the batter's box? Is it at the mound? Where's the mental energy getting put right? Here we are a couple of hours away really from first pitch.
Yeah. And that was kind of the second part to your question I didn't answer a little bit ago is right. Like, where's the team at? What's the big focuses now? I think now if you were to go to a practice, you would see a lot more, like we don't have to focus so much on, you're still focusing on culture, but you don't have to focus on it as much as you did the first few years of building the program. Now you can definitely focus more on, okay, situational hitting. All right, what do we do here? We have a guy at second base. Where's the ball need to go? We didn't really talk about that as much in the first few years of the program because that wasn't what was preventing us from necessarily winning. We weren't winning because we weren't putting the ball to the right side with a guy in scoring position with 2 outs. Right. We weren't winning because, well, our culture just wasn't there. Now the culture is there and you can see it. And why they don't win is now like they've seen, okay, we need to do better at hitting with runners in scoring position. Where does the ball need to go? Where does it not need to go? When we're on the mound, what does the mindset need to be? Focusing more, again, on the mound side is, okay, what's the difference between having command and having control? Focusing on, okay, on the base paths. When you're on the base path, know the situation and know, okay, if the ball's hit to this side, here's what I'm doing. Being more aware of in the batter's box, okay, what are the signs that I might get so I know what to look for? Because there's a lot of signs, right? And so knowing if you know what to look for, that can really eliminate the gap for error of maybe missing a sign.
So look for that in base running this year.
Yeah.
Look for that there. Let me ask you this, and this is completely a biased decision. If you could pull off your coach's eyes on this really quick, who is just one position, who is one player that you would say, hey, keep your eye on this person. There's going to be some fireworks that happen, or you're predicting right now, if you're taking off your coach's hat, just from a perspective of a spectator, who's the position this year? Left fielder, second baseman? Sure. What are we looking for?
Yeah, I'm going against Coach Bell's appreciation because he does not like having guys' names on the air. So I'll take some flack for this. But yeah,
understandable.
I think some of the guys like that to really look out for in terms of leadership and that to
asking as a fan,
right? I think Landon Iden is one of the big leaders on this team. He's taken a lot of big steps. Like he tore his ACL his freshman year, I think, playing football. And he's taken a huge. I mean, he just signed. I can't remember who he signed with recently, but he signed to play some baseball after high school. Brady Schrader had a huge, just a crazy run. And that's the thing about baseball is, the stats and the records, right? We don't have it, but he had an insane number of RBIs over a 5-game stretch. That was just crazy.
Right, man, for the right position.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you were going to say that because Landon Iden and I, we got to know each other a little too well. I almost would have hit him with my car. But so my first year teaching, I was wondering if you're going to drop his name, just knowing he's part of the team, part of the coaching. The young man darts. And he darted in front of a vehicle that I happened to be driving at the time, and everybody's okay and stuff like that, but nonetheless scared the living everything out of me that day. Yes. So no crosswalk, no nothing. I was going the speed limit. It was just terrible timing that he stepped off the curb just as I was 20 feet away from him. He has amazing reaction skills. I can attest to that because my entire life slowed down right there. So to share that, Landon and I do laugh about it. And oh man, now we laugh about it still. Like my stomach does those things. Emma, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Looking at the schedule, baseball. You've appreciated it game in, game out, week in, week out. We have a scrimmage that was supposed to happen Wednesday, of course, rained out. But This upcoming Monday, Central Noble game here at home. Tuesday, Carroll. Thursday, Cherubusco. Monday next week, Wayne High School. You fit so much season into just a matter of weeks, really. Like you could have a rainy March and it ruins half of your year. Mm-hmm. What effect do you imagine that having on the players? What do you want to be on the lookout for as a fan and as a play-by-play color commentator for this upcoming season? What do you speak to the schedule and just the pace of it?
Yeah, so obviously things happen pretty quickly throughout this season, so it's just super important that they show up to practice and give their all at practice, seeing as it's not going to happen very often with as cram-packed as their schedule is. And like I know as a golfer, our season seemed pretty short, and obviously golf is also an outdoor sport. So like when the rain came, we couldn't practice, and that impacted the team. Not a whole lot, but it definitely restricted us because we couldn't really golf inside. So I definitely can see like the same dynamics with baseball, seeing as, yeah, they have the opportunity to practice inside a little bit with the batting cages in the gym, but a
little bit different.
Right. And so I definitely think they just need to make sure that they're keeping up their practice as often as they can, and I think that the schedule will work out and it'll be fine.
There we go. The voice right there, one of the play-by-play students here at Columbia City High School. Emma, I'm looking forward to having you in the announcer booth this year, calling the games, letting people know what's happening in the action. Of course, if you are a Columbia City baseball fan, you want to see the production that Emma has helped build, now taking on a little bit different role, not necessarily a producer of that, a camera person, a person technical directing, but being in the announcer booth, kind of more talent. You getting excited for this year?
I'm a little bit nervous, but it'll be fine.
It's excitement. That's what you mean to say. And of course, Mr. Ambrose right there, a long time associated with the team here at Columbia City High School. Looking forward to a great season. Is there anything else that we missed in conversation, guys?
Yeah, real quick, just to add some other guys to kind of watch out for. You have Eli Platt behind the dish. He's got really good speed. Got some good pop time. Noble Hine, another senior, has got some good pop. He had a grand slam the other year. Devin Kreider on the mound and at first base has some good pop. Drew Vanderford, a nice lefty on the mound. So some other guys to kind of mention for that could have some breakout games, could play some really, really key roles for this club down the stretch, especially like you mentioned, when you have those weeks where there's, 6 games in 5 days or 5 games in 4 days, however you want to word it and whatnot.
Right. And that back to back, that's something that always, how is the mental resistance going to hold up for the teams? Little injuries can add up over time like that. So baseball, definitely a fast-paced game. Of course, you can catch baseball on WJHS Studios on YouTube. All of the home games that are happening here at Columbia City High School, we plan on filming and maybe even doing one of the Morses Park games, putting up after the fact. If you cannot make it yourself, do check out Columbia City Athletics schedule for the complete rundown and list. First game, of course, Monday versus Central Noble. To Carroll, to Cherubusco that first week, Wayne High School after that, then hitting the road to Wawasee, Concordia back here at home. Man, the games keep coming as we get into early April, into May, and it doesn't stop with Columbia City baseball. Of course, thank you both for being in the studio. Appreciate it a ton as we dive into another episode of Coach's Corner, just to give us some insight into what's happening at Columbia City Athletics. That being said, thank you for listening. Check out WJHS Studios on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get everyone to 1,000 subscribers. We just hit 800. Let's go. So that's a notable event for the audio video students. And I like giving them a little bit of a hard time about, we're never going to get there. We're never going to get there. That being said, this is WJHS 91.5, The Eagle.